Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the brand new podcast series. This is Saroj, and you are listening to KTM PopSat. And we have a very special guest today, a person who has created a significant history in the socio-political, especially in LGBT spectrum in Nepali society. Yes, it's Sunil Babu Panta, who is the first openly gay member of Parliament in Asia. He is a founder of Blue Diamond Society, the first LGBT right organization in Nepal. He has always been working as a human rights activist. On the other side, he is also a very good filmmaker, a very good storyteller, a meditation practitioner who delve into spirituality. With all this experience, he is, I guess, a complete person. So, without any ado, let's welcome him on the show. Sunilji, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Saraji.
How are you doing?
Great. Thank you.
So, well, you have spoken a lot about LGBT rights, human rights, and there's so many stories around it. But today, what I thought was, just catching up with your last kind of title name, like you call yourself a spiritual kind of,
Guide.
yeah, guide, and I just wanted to catch up on that, and also recently you started making film, which was great. I was to the premiere of your Blue Flower film. I want to kind of focus on to that part, like art, life, spirituality. So first question would be, how do you kind of find yourself in the spectrum of social and cultural space in Nepal at the moment?
It's Nepal always a very fascinating country. A lot of minorities living together, mostly in harmonies. It's a different culture melting pot. A lot of people perhaps do not know that this land, until recently meaning perhaps 2,000 or 3,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, was heavily matriarchal system where women has more rights and powers. Third gender, homosexuals, queer, whatever we call it now, also have more space, more respect in the society, and more roles to play. So that discovering that was a fascinating part, and that helped a lot to my own journey. We all those living humans in this land or in this earth, we all have our different journey. The physical journey takes more or less its own natural path, a biological natural path, but we also have our own spirit, and its journey is not that familiar, and can go forward, backward, or get lost. So that's where, but we are governed by our own spirit, our own consciousness. And that's more important. That's why those who have figured out the spiritual path, and they do a great service by becoming a guide. So I'm trying to do that.
Very interesting. Yeah. Well, see, again, my question would be focused on your sort of very personal experience or personal self. So, how do you see yourself? How do you want to be called?
Called, I don't really have a choice because it's somebody's given always name, given name always, and then they call whatever they may fit at that moment of their understanding about me. So my name, legal name, has been noted down as Sunil Pant. Somebody gave that name. I had no choice. When I started distributing condoms and talking to LGBTI people in Ratna Park in the year 2000, so some of the folks lightheartedly called me Condom Bahadur. So I was given that name. I became a monk in Sri Lanka. They gave me a name as Monk Kashyap.
Yeah.
Now I call myself, when I'm doing regular stuff, activism or other thing, people still use me, my own old legal name that's in my passport, Sunil Babu Pant. But somehow I feel that I have also left that monastic institution, the organized religious institution. So I have given up the title as a monk. But I'm also not a householder. So there's an old term which I prefer. It's called a nagarik. And Anagrik has a very different political name now,
Yeah.
meanings now, that those who have left without citizenship or stateless people are called Anagrik now.
Yeah.
But prior to Buddha's time, there was a tradition of people, living the householder's life
Yeah.
and leaving the nagar. Nagar means
so
city.
they were called Anagari.
Yes,
Interesting.
calling themselves a Nagarik because they didn't see being a householder would liberate them.
Interesting.
But they also didn't join any organized religion, so that's where they were a Nagarik.
I think this is very interesting to hear when you're saying this, because in like current context, if you say Anagari, it sounds very political.
Politically, yeah.
Right? Like, because what I feel is like, it obviously sounds very political, but when you're explaining, I was kind of finding it also in a way very interesting and intriguing. A Nagarik has different sort of meaning.
Meaning it was a different tradition altogether.
Yeah.
Still has.
So you're carrying that
And when
one.
Buddha left, renounced his palace life, left,
Yeah.
he was called a Nagarik.
Interesting. Okay.
Before enlightenment. So once he got enlightened, then everyone called him Buddha.
Yeah.
But once he set up the organizations of monks, then they would call bhikshus.
Yeah.
But otherwise, those who do not wish to get into organized religion and also are not householder were called anagariks.
Can you also explain Kasyap?
Kashyap is a common name both in Hindus and Buddhists. There were previous Buddhas named
Are the
Kashyap.
sages, right? Kasyap means like normally.
Many sages are there. No, it's not one. Many sages are there. And it's also one of the Manu's son. So Brahma has his own, Manu, and Manu has a couple of sons there, and Kashyap is one of them. There's Kashyap Rishis in Mahabharata time, also another one in Ramayana time. But in Buddhism, I think he was the third last Buddha before this Buddha. This was named Kashyap.
What is for you, Kasyap?
The root meaning, it means somebody who's like a kachua. That's where the word coming from. It means what's called kachua in English.
Kachua.
Kachua.
Kachua is turtle.
Turtle. So turtle is symbolized in a spiritual arena. Turtles are the symbol for those who have contained their sensual desires, or control their mind, because a turtle can do it and hide itself and
within itself,
and under the shell, very protected. So it symbolizes that somebody is contained within oneself. It doesn't have the weak mind. That's where any sensual desires can easily trap. So that's the meaning of Kashyap.
Yeah, so that's what you kind of yourself referring to with Kasyap?
Again, I didn't choose that name, but it's somebody gave who perhaps thought I was qualified for that, but I don't know. It's the very senior monk from Sri Lanka gave that name to me, so I take it.
Interesting. Thank you, Sunil. Moving forward, I also wanted to talk about your recent sort of a journey where you kind of incorporating art as a tool in your life or in your journey of activism. Or maybe it's just for you kind of self-satisfaction, a form of self-satisfaction. You started making film. What is your understanding of art and life?
Art imitates life, life imitates art. It's very intimate, I think, relation, and making film is one of the form. I grew up listening stories from my grandmother in the very young age. Then my father was a great storyteller. So I had this, such a joy to listen the story and also telling the stories.
Yeah.
But I've taken a lesser, preferred form in our society. The listener has given a greater value than the teller.
Yeah.
Have you heard this saying that, sunnela sunkamala, bhanala fulkamala?
Of course.
So if you're a good listener, you'll have a golden, garland.
Yeah.
But a good storyteller only gets a flower garland. So I've taken the less beneficial.
You're
And
such a
started
nice
taking,
storyteller. Very interesting. So, okay, connected to this question again. When was that time when you kind of decided or thought of making film, and why was that important?
After I disrobed and then left the organized, Buddhist monastic institution, I wanted to do something creative.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would come back to the politics or to the hardcore activism that I used to do on gay rights. So I thought maybe something related into art form. I never knew I could be a filmmaker. So I was trying myself, testing myself. The story I had this back in mind since the beginning of Blue Diamond Society 22 years ago, I heard few other people going through this very difficult life decision that they put through, forced marriage to a
Sure.
woman.
I'll talk about the film itself and the story of the film, but I just wanted to kind of understand more better on how, like, you're not coming from academic background, you're not a film student, but still you kind of attempt to do it, and you did it so well. I watched the film, and I kind of found very fascinating watching films well made. So, was that what sort of a thing? Like, kind of, how did you learn doing that?
I questioned myself, okay, this is a new thing, but many people, perhaps, for them is new, many things. And then I was questioning whether, do I enjoy watching film? Yes, I do. That was the answer. Yes, if I enjoy so much, listening stories, watching good movie, if I enjoy so much, then why can't I try? That was the thing. Very simple. I asked myself, do I enjoy a movie? Yes, I do.
It's very inspirational for a lot of young filmmaker, I guess. Let's dive into the film you made, like Blue Flower. Name itself is very symbolic to me. Well, when you chose the name of the film, you had the story. You said, like, for about 20 years ago, you wanted to make film or not, but you had this story.
I want somebody to make the film when I heard.
Yes. So let's talk about the film itself. Is this kind of a reflection of society, or is this based on the true event, where it's coming from?
True events, many stories. Those who have gone through forced marriage, some very few able to defy, say no. Otherwise, 99%, and still today, very difficult to say no to their parents and to their loved one when they try and arrange marriage against their will, who are gay and lesbian, or third gender, transgender people. That trauma people carry, and then once they got into this trap, it's very difficult to get out of it. And then people either kill themselves or suffer whole life. What happens is, they have this guilt first, that their life is ruined, but they also become the cause to ruin somebody else's life. Particularly if you are a gay man, then the women coming to your life as a spouse. And then you can't fulfill her because you are not interested physically to her. So, and she deserved to be with somebody else who is physically attracted as well. So respect is one thing, but having a romantic love in a marriage life is more important. So that they feel very guilty about. Then some people cannot make children, then the whole family falls over you, especially to your wife, if you are a gay man. Then, unnecessarily, and the innocent spouse getting punished for nothing. So that's you have, and then the whole your own family prestige become inflated and put in front of you so big that you carry this load. Then even bigger issue similar comes to your in-laws prestige because of you.
Right.
So you try to not to blow this balloon, inflated balloon of prestige, and keep it, wants to not to burst.
Right.
So that's a huge,
Yeah.
burden, and then it's very traumatic long
Right.
term. It's causing suffering for
Yeah.
so many members of the family.
Right.
So I saw that, and then I almost gone through the similar experience. Even I came out in 2002. Until next couple of years, 5 7 years, aunties and uncles and others still were talking and bringing beautiful girls picture for me to see
Right.
and choose. So that's the society we talk about. It's highly family oriented, but patriarchal.
Right. Well, the film has very well portrayed the whole story that you're narrating right now, and I think somewhat it has kind of succeeded. But I also wanted to understand before making the film, what was kind of a goal set of making the film, and what do you think now? Has that achieved? Where is it?
Yeah, I thought it would be an educational film because the forced marriage is still going on. And then after the movie, even though I wanted to make a full film, but I sort of have no budget, so I only made the half.
Yeah.
The other half equally compelling because the children get suffered as well afterwards. The whole society, gets one side against these two families. Very complex consequences they have, very brutal, unjust.
Yeah.
Right now, it's been shown across Nepal in major cities, very well received. Was selected in India, and the movie Billflower also been played in Sri Lanka. Some organization wanted to bring it to Bangladesh and Pakistan, but could be too risky. So those who want to invite, being cautious about it. Now, my film Blue Flower has also been selected to San Francisco Queer Film Festival, which is happening next week. So next week I'm flying to San Francisco to show this film. I've shown this film here to the Supreme Court judges as well. So it made positive impact on them. That's how the decision we had 2 months ago. And I also shown to the politicians, the Speaker of the House, and he watched the full movie, gave a very nice review afterwards, and he suggested to show it to all politicians.
Right.
So I've released without English subtitle, just in Nepali into the YouTube, so people should watch it. 3 weeks, it's I think more than 20,000 already views.
Yeah, on YouTube. So basically, the film is doing its job.
It's fantastic job. Everyone watched it. They realized the deep problem.
Right.
Of forced marriage.
Yeah, well, yes, I think it's phenomenal. It's very nice. I mean, I think you have done well. Film is fantastic, and it's really well kind of received. Well, I think we are end of the podcast. So I would like to wish you all the best with all your projects. Thank you very much, Sunil ji, for making time and coming to the studio, having this podcast recorded. Thank you. So thank you. I think with this note, we have come to the end of the program. This podcast series is supported by the US Embassy, Kathmandu, Nepal. Thank you so much, the US Embassy, for supporting this kind of unique initiative by bikalpaartcenter. Okay, so thank you so much. But before I say goodbye, I would like to request you to kindly subscribe our channel. We are based on different podcast platforms. So please do go check it out and see what you like, what you feel comfortable listening us or watching us. You could definitely choose the best platform you like. Thank you so much for listening us. See you next time. Bye-bye.